Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Enigmatica 6 Expert. How are you guys doing today? How's life? In between the episodes, I did work a little bit around the base. I tried to clean things up. These sections are not obviously cleaned because, well, we need machines. Finally, our corridors have roof, and the columns are complete. When I was making the ceiling, I realized, why is everybody asking me, how do you get the casings, the ones from Create? So the andesite one at this stage of the game is relatively easy peasy, but the brass casing requires polished wood planks from Eidolon. I mean, for us at this very moment it's relatively cheap because it's just one plank, but I would assume if you have a very small blood altar, it's gonna take a very long time. To start today's episode, I thought maybe we should revisit our mob farm up here. The design I had in mind was kind of garbage, because you know, a chicken is one block, a guster is 2x2. And you might notice that I have already tried it, this is why he has lost 1 health. So I don't know, I thought maybe we go with a few terrariums, try to match the biome that these guys are going to spawn, so that when we are holding them as captives, they don't feel homesick. I don't know what to call them. Of course, Obi-Wan. The best place for Jedis is in a cell. Obi-Wan has a very bad temper, but that is nice. I can't make the terrariums much bigger because our farmers are going to have a range of 10 blocks, so even this is a stretch. We also had a spawn egg for Wraiths, we have 3, and he shall be known as Yoda. Stop! I should have placed him down last. Actually, I had no idea trapdoors do not block the sun, because you know, Yoda burned to death. Yes. Both of them are happy. And I'm guessing something like this is fine. We are getting a decent amount of loot. And I was hoping we are going to get more ectoplasm, but even with 2 raids, well, that is the raids. We also have a kangaroo and a camel, because I need the kangaroo hide in order to make the satchels, in order to make the ender chest, and the camel is there so that the kangaroo doesn't feel lonely. Because you know, the other one is a chicken. Chickens are at best a vegetable. Anyways, last night I flew on and I did manage to find the basalts. So maybe we also need to designate an area for, I don't know, mountain creatures? Okay, so we have a few other mobs. Meet Rey, Princess Leia for gunpowder, and Han Solo, because he's freezing. I thought that's going to be his only use, but unfortunately he seems to drop string. You had one job. Stay frozen. Anyways, I also worked on this place a little bit more. There are additional mobs that we have to bring in, so I think for the moment, we're done here. Actually, the most important thing I wanted was ectoplasm. Also, I just realized this is a relatively big area. Maybe we should have an elevator? Not that we are ever going to use that elevator, but since it's part of the base, you know, it has to be connected. There is an elevator from Pneumatic Craft and it is actually really cool. The problem is that it does need plastic. And even though I have a decent supply of plastic, we're not producing any. So let us solve our plastic situation. And then we're going to have an elevator. It has been a while since I have made plastic sheets. I believe we needed to start with ethanol and plant oil. Actually, we start with yeast. Before we do anything, I just wanted to test something. A few episodes ago somebody told me that if you want to make yeast, the temperature is ideal in the nether. And that is very true. It has to be lower than 60. At that time, it didn't make any sense for us to do this in the nether because, you know, we never had access to water or ender tanks. But now it does. I gathered some material so that we don't have to travel between dimensions that much, but since it's me and my memory is garbage, we're going to definitely travel more than 10 times. Anyhow, everything is going to start with a network receiver. And guess what? This is our first travel. So, you go in. Power consumption is not that bad. I think they just didn't like the drives. The rest is fine. I also just figured if I have a crafting grid, then I don't have to travel. Anyways, you should be connected, and you guys were right, this one does not need power, and I hate it when you're big. Yes, this is much better. Some building blocks are always nice, and as I have already mentioned, we're going to start with yeast. Yeast does require water, and this is why it didn't make sense for us to do this earlier in the game, because you cannot put a water source block in the nether. And I think still making a sink is, yeah, no, just no. We have water, we need to provide it with mushrooms, and that should make us yeast. Wait a minute, you don't need pressure. I don't know, I just noticed. Then we need to convert that yeast into ethanol, so you go inside another thermopneumatic processing plant. We export sugar. This one also doesn't need any pressure. Great. Yes, but once we get to the vegetable oil, we need pressure. For producing vegetable oil, I'm just going to export seed, because you know, it's cheap. And everything that we are producing has to go inside a fluid mixer. And obviously, since we want to be fancy, can we use these transfer nodes? Transfer gadgets. Oops. I mean, this is going to make us seed oil, this one is going to make us ethanol, and well, the mixer is in the center, so that should work. without any cables. Well, this actually looks kind of cool. We're getting plant oil, we're getting ethanol, we're mixing it so that we're getting biodiesel. The biodiesel goes inside another thermopneumatic processing plant, and for the moment we don't really have a pattern for charcoal. I have to make one, but if we give it one charcoal and give it some heat, we're going to get plastic, which I'm just going to put it inside an ender tank and we will take it home. Actually, this one is slow. I mean, it's cool, but very slow. I'm just going to use a normal pipe. It actually turned out to be really nice. The thermopneumatic processing plant and the fluid mixer complement each other, so it's like a puzzle. Anyways, what we want was plastic, and we're getting tons of plastic. I just have to make sure that we have plenty of seeds and plenty of mushroom. I am using the bark mushroom in order to make yeast, because if you use a normal mushroom inside a phytogenic insulator, you're gonna get tons of garbage. I know that there is a sports recreator from Industrial Foregoing, but you know, phytogenic insulators are easier. And besides, this one gives you 8. But anyhow, I did order one more black hole tank and we have access to plastic at our own base. So we have another small issue. The ender tanks that I just used consumed the last of our satchels, so we're out. It's not a horrifying situation, but I think it gives us an opportunity so that we can fully automate it. Also, I said I'm going to fix this on episode 1 and well, it's still here, so I fixed it. Oh, we need more seeds. I don't know, maybe 20. Oh, we're out of actual seeds. Do not be worried. There's plenty everywhere. Let me gather some end fiber and I'll be right back. I did gather some material and our goal is to try and make the satchel without refined storage getting confused. I already had a pattern for satchels because I thought the name is going to stay the same. For a very long time it was the same, but suddenly it changed. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add 2 oak slabs, 6 oak planks, and we're going to replace the satchel with a barrel. And I think that goes here? Yes. So this is very ridiculous, but if I order 1 barrel, we should get a satchel. Yes, it started crafting the satchel, that is good. The satchel has been picked up by the vacuumulator, that is also good. But I think it remains in the vacuumulator and we have to change something at the import bus. Exact mode off. It's still here. So if we use a logistical sorter and use fuzzy mode, we can extract the satchel. That is good, because you know, it's not going to pay attention to the tag. That means if I drop it over here, it will be picked up by the vacuumulator and goes inside the barrel. And I'm assuming if we have a filter for it with the exact mode off, it should be imported. Are you? Yes, that is perfect. It goes into the refined storage system. But the problem is the recipe is still active. So I am going to come to our crafter over here and we are going to set a pattern for a barrel. Our crafter is also making us the book of foliot, so over at our XNet controller I have blacklisted the barrel. Because you know, if I don't blacklist it, it will go inside the router. I mean, technically I can just set a filter, but I think it's much easier to blacklist the barrel than to blacklist, I don't know, the book of foliot. So I'm going to add one more channel and insert it back into the barrel. So now if we put the ingredients in, we're going to get a barrel, that is good. And we're going to import it over here. So now that we are also importing the barrel, you're complete. Great. Essentially, every time that I want to make a satchel, I just have to order 1 barrel. Refined storage really doesn't care what happens in between, and we're cheating the system, getting a satchel for free. There are other ways of cheating the system. The problem is I need satchel for 2 items. One of them is the ender tank and one of them is the ender chest. And I really don't want to have 2 separate automations, so we're just cheating. While we are still on the topic of occultism, let us also try and automate the production of stable wormhole. I don't really know how many uses it's going to have, but I generally need it in order to make the network transmitter and receiver. You see, we have all the patterns except him. The issue is that we are out of a bunch of items, so let us try and get that. How do you get more blackberries? Oh, you can buy it. That is my source of black dye and I use it to make the ink from occultism. Hello, beautiful. Anyways, first things first. Oops. Was this always here? I'm very sorry. It happens. We also need some bottled ghost. Thankfully, I still have the terminal here. I know you can automate this using a dispenser. I haven't opened this, but I don't really see any point. Because you know, you can just get stacks and stacks by holding right click and also moving a bit. And talking about things that I'm not really going to automate, one of them is going to be sparks. Because you know, we just get a bunch. If I could have automated that using Ars Nebu, I would have done that, but using a dispenser is like, eh. Well, the wormhole should be easy, because it doesn't have any tags. And it works, meaning that the crafting job is done, and I can order network receivers and transmitters from scratch. Great. Just wanted to give you a very small update that we have 27 crafters, and all of them are full. This is the only empty one. So I did make 9 more, and we're going to use them. Yes, much better. There are higher tier crafters, which the iron crafter can actually hold 27 patterns. The problem is that we're going to need some neural processors. And how do you get a neural processor? Well, you're going to need a Wixie charm. And how do you get a Wixie charm? You get it from a shard, which is obtained by using this spell on a witch while it has less than half health. I have an idea for it, maybe we're going to do that next episode. Because today we're going to start working on something very simplistic. Salt. You might be asking yourself why, and the answer is raw bits. If we manage to get a raw bit, we should be able to make a digital miner. Everything that you see here, I can craft, at least I'm assuming I can craft, except the salt. Because it does require a chemical crystallizer, which does require an advanced machine frame, and it does require pink slime. Last episode I did explain that we get pink slime from the pink wither, and there are two ways of obtaining him. One is that we summon him, which for some reason I have to sacrifice a wither, or we can get lucky and get a pinkinator. I prefer to go with the pinkinator route because we have to do Botania anyways, we need the ingots. So I guess we get back to the drawing board and we should start making some pylons. That is not bad, that's not horrific. That's also not the worst. We need 2 natural pylons for the gateway, 4 Gaia pylons for the ritual. So we need 6 in total. I'll be right back. Okay, so we ran into our first problem. I used to think that we get mana pearls as a loot reward, in the Undergarden. Apparently I was wrong, and that's just mana diamonds. The issue is that in order to make the mana pearl, we're going to need the infused ender pearl from RF Tools, and that requires a block of crystallized chorus, which has to be made inside the mixer with liquid chorus and ender slime. Liquid chorus is something that we are already making over here, I assume. Yes. Loud noises. Yeah, that is liquid chorus, good. And ender slime is something that we get either from the actual mob or from a tree, which I can buy. Nice. You have a horrible name. Yeah, I can't read that. It's okay, there's only one. So I have the sapling, I just don't know where to plant it. All I know is that it's not endstone. Well, it's a purple tree and I'm assuming we have to look for a purple biome. I mean, worst comes to worst, we can get a few from the Tinker Islands, but I don't know, I just want to know how it works. These are mushrooms. Nope. I have been exploring for a while. I'm not picky. We take some of these. The tree would have made it much easier, but I guess we didn't have a choice. This is much easier. Well, at this point I thought we make as much as we can. It's not that difficult. Everything that I want to do with the energizing orb takes a lot of time because the rods that we have are garbage. I did manage to get a few niotic ones from a quest reward, but they're also not that great. If we want to go really crazy, we just need a nitro one, because that can transfer 154,000 RF per tick. So instead of going at this speed, it will just instantly finish it. In the past my issue was that we could not get access to enough Osiris shards, but right now it's actually easy. Well, it's not super easy, but you get the point. There is bound to be an Osiris here. Yes, you're Osiris? Oh, that was only one. Okay, but we do have a few in our system, so it should be fine. Let me craft one. We just need one of you. Thank you. If I'm not wrong, we should be good to go. This is the spirited version, and this is the nitro version. And since it's going to consume a crazy amount of RF, we just put it here. And I'm not exactly sure, but I guess we can put the orb over there. And we just need to re-entangle you? Yes, we entangle you here. So now if I order like 10 of these pearls, it should be super fast. It's not great, but this is a huge improvement. Just out of curiosity, if we order, I don't know, a few blazing crystals, how fast is it going to be? It's instant. Nice. And Uranonite should be, I don't know, super crazy? Well, I guess we are limited by our refined storage system. So we still don't have a mana generation setup, but I guess we have enough Black Lotus, and we can just do this. No. Yes, it's a moonstone. Now I can do that? Yes. You need so many material in order to just craft one Terrasteel. But I guess it should work. In this mod pack it also seems that we need far more mana. Yep, first Terrasteel. We have 12 Terrasteel ingots, we need 8 of them in order to make 4 natural pylons because we need to convert it into a Gaia pylon, and we also need 2 additional Terrasteel ingots in order to make the Elven Gateway core. And this is why I'm garbage at math, because the total is 10. I was going to say that I am going to try and get a few extra ones because I want to get the Terra Shatterer, or maybe also the Truncator. That's a nice thing to have. Okay, so I was wrong. We need 6 natural pylons, 4 Gaia pylons. So I needed a teeny tiny bit more spirited crystals, and thankfully we did manage to get some Osiris shards. I mean, you know, the artifact. I have already crafted the 4 natural pylons. We need 2 more. So there you go. Oh, yes, take number 2. There you go. It finally worked. And it is on auto crafting. I don't know how many of them we need. Well, we need some of them in some recipes, so I guess it makes sense to have them on auto crafting. Okay, this episode was hell of a grind, but hopefully we should be able to summon the Guardian of Gaia and have our first fight. Oh, the way that you hold it has changed. Interesting. I don't really know where we're going to have the fights eventually, but for the moment, we do it over here. At least for the first few fights. I also have a feeling that you have to go back by a few blocks. I also don't have any strategies. The only strategy that I have are Oreos. Anyways, let us have some fun. It does work. Hello, handsome. Handsome? You're not gonna move? No? It's a very good thing that we have Oreos in our lives. And we're done. Yes, we still get the spirits. And now we need to start fighting the Guardian of Gaia, tier 2. Set. You see, I'm telling you, you need to keep so many stupid crystals. And we have set. 12. Okay, so I did make a pattern in order to make a Gaia Spirit ingot. The problem is we can't really auto-craft it using this setup. Not just because I broke it. It's because I'm already using Terrasteel ingots in 2 of the pedestals, and if we order more than 1 Gaia Spirit ingot, well, the system is going to be messed up. And this one requires a crazy amount of source. We take one of you. At first I thought maybe we should have some miniguns trying to kill the mobs, but no, that's going to be loud. We're going to use Vexes. I was also looking at the recipe of the unstable reservoir, but no, I'm really not in the mood for this. I did it. Wow. Oh my goodness, he drops a ton of runes. I don't have to craft runes ever again. Ring of Odin. I hate you. Well, we had enough set shards in order to do this fight 3 times, so let us do that. Also, ignore what I said, we're going to get the Rod of the Unstable Reservoir. We're good. I made myself a Rod of the Unstable Reservoir, which is really good for crowd control. Unfortunately, I cannot find a hostile mob. You know, I just wanted it for demonstration purposes. But anyways, we can do this fight 2 more times, and hopefully we will also get the Ring of Odin. I hate yellow hearts. Actually, I'm out of mana, we use one of you. Yeah, this is much better. You see, it hits multiple enemies. I really love Botania. Oreos, yes. So far no Pinkinator. And we got the Ring of Thor. Oh, we get so much garbage. But it's great, it gives us so many runes. I don't have to craft them ever again. I hate you. Well, at least we have food, I guess. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.